Welcome to another episode of Wild Cannons Podcast. You have T in the booth today right now, Jeff to my left, then we have Ryan, and our special guest, Frank the Tank. Frank, I don't know how to say your last name, so how can you help us out there?
It's like cool, no. Like you're cool, no.
So Culhno?
So Culhno. Yep, you said
Frank
it right.
Culhno.
Yep.
Awesome, also known as Frank the Tank.
My guess was off, so thanks for that.
What were you saying? Everyone destroys
I said
it.
like Calhoun or something.
That's what usually people say, yeah, because of the spelling. But
My bad. I just Frank the Tank, so.
Frank the Tank. And so we have a little bit of Frank the Tank from movies and Will Ferrell. But I was supposed to ask where the nickname actually came from. So can you elaborate on where the nickname came from?
well, kind of in high school, I just was called Frank the Tank. I think from that, I don't even know what the movie is that it's from.
I should know this.
What movie is
It's
that?
Will Ferrell, I know.
It is Will Ferrell.
It's when he's all...
Everyone's going to message us.
I think it's
It's the one when they're in college,
old
right?
school, right?
It
Yeah,
is old
old
school.
I'm pretty sure it's
Yes.
old
Yeah,
school.
they go back
Yes.
to college.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Frank
it came from that.
Streaking.
And like it
To the quad.
changed from like Frank the Tank to Frankie the Dank. It was all over the place in high school. But then as I got out of high school and started pursuing like mountain biking and stuff, and I started getting injuries, people really started calling me the Tank because I would come back from all these crazy injuries. So then Frank the Tank really stuck with me.
All right.
So that's kind of how it has stuck with me.
All right. So I had a little info from Nick Stroh, and he was saying maybe it was also some stuff that you eat. Was that something else that there was? Is there any part of that? Because you kind of left that out.
Of course he would say that. No. Sadly, I don't eat like a tank. I wish I did, but no, it's nothing to do with food.
All right. Awesome. But so good stuff there. So we have now the pronunciation of your last name. We got a little info about Frank the Tank. Where are you living these days? Where are you at?
I'm in Kingston, Idaho, in the Silver Valley.
Nice.
Before that, I lived in Kellogg 4 years ago, and then before that, I lived in Southern California. So I've been up here since 2016.
2016.
Yep.
Awesome. So definitely now a Silver Valley local.
I like to say that, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we would associate you.
I think they
with.
say, though, you got to be here for like 20 years before you're a local, though.
Probably not in the Silver Valley. Where did you grow up?
Southern California, like the high desert area.
And where exactly?
So like Victorville, I lived in Victorville at first and then moved to Phelan. And it's like about an hour away from Big Bear.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you're a snowboarder, then you'll kind of know. And about 20 minutes from Mountain High.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So you're in the thick of it.
Oh, I was in the thick of it. The park thick of it for sure.
All right. Well,
Yep.
we can't wait to get there. So grew up, and then what brought you to this area?
Mainly my parents, they were just kind of wanting to get out of California, and I was still living with them out of the time. And I knew there was a lot of mountain biking and a lot of just outdoor stuff out here in Idaho. So I was like, I kind of want to get out of California, try something new. So I'm going to go with you guys. And I did, and don't regret it.
Awesome, man. Well, cool stuff. I'm looking forward to, this time with you. We got some great questions, and the one that we like to start with is, what's your snowboard origin story? How did you get started?
Let's think. Being a Jerry.
Because you're in California?
That, and just in general, I think everybody starts off being a Jerry, right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So
Ryan longer maybe than...
Still.
Yeah, we're working on it. It's fine.
No, it was at Mountain High was the first time I've ever snowboarded. Bunny Hill, just was trying it with my sister one day. My mom took us up there, and
And
I remember
what age
just-
was that?
probably 13 or 14. I was still I think I was a freshman in high school. So yeah, I was probably 13. And I remember being on the Bunny Hill and seeing the main high-speed quad going up the mountain, being like, oh my gosh, like where does that go? That looks gnarly. I want to go up there. And I think the next time I went up to go snowboard at Mountain High, I went up the high-speed quad, barely even knowing how to snowboard, and came down the full runs, and I was shitting my pants the whole entire time. Like, this is so steep. How do people do this? And ever since then, I loved it. And every year just kept going, buy a season pass, go ride Big Bear. And I started meeting buddies, and they were kind of park riders, and I always looked up to them, and I was like, man, I want to hit that. And they kind of helped me progress on hitting stuff, also crashing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it started at Mountain High and just pursued ever since then.
Very, very cool. So that was actually my next question was Mountain High. So what were the vibes there? So maybe we can talk about the vibes there.
At that time?
Yeah, at that time.
Okay,
Kind of give us a layout.
The baggy steez was in at that time. And that's when like the skinny steez was in too. Because I was on that skinny steez, like tight pants, everything tight. And then you had like the older dudes wearing all the baggy stuff, like Tech 9, all of that. And it was like, oh, shit. So that was kind of, and I always was like scared of the people that were in the baggy clothes and wearing Tech 9 because they were the ones throwing down. And it was like, oh, shit, you know. But yeah, that was kind of the style back. And I remember always those guys were kind of, they never were welcome to us younger dudes with like this, we were kind of that skinny stance style, tight pants. And they just, it was like baggy and skinny stayed separate from each other.
Yeah.
It was weird. Where nowadays, like, I don't think that really matters.
I
But
wouldn't
back then it mattered.
Oh, for sure.
So,
So like California was like really a thing back there. I feel like because of a lot of surfing style and stuff.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it was-
oh yeah. And I just remember like the older dudes did not want to talk to us young dudes. Like it was like, stay away.
So kind of like a gatekeeping, you think? Was that?
Yeah, I would say so. Where I feel like nowadays us older dudes are trying to help the younger dudes progress. Where back then that wasn't really a thing. I don't know. That's what at least it felt like.
I think it was that. It was kind of like a earn your stripes kind of thing. Like you need
100%.
to definitely earn it. I think the surfing aspect would be
Yep.
you have to earn, you know, your time out there before you can get into the set. So,
yeah.
And again, I got a little info from Nick.
When
So-
did you talk to Nick?
So don't worry about when I talk to Nick.
Gather intel.
But yeah, I got to get a little intel. So thank you so much. So we were talking about Mountain High. So you kind of laid some of the ground there. But he thought maybe we should talk about another California mountain. You know which one I'm going to talk about?
Mammoth.
Talk about Mammoth.
Okay.
And maybe a little beef with some locals there.
There was definitely.
He didn't know
beef.
exactly what, so, you know, take us through that experience.
Oh man. Well, so right out of high school, I moved to Mammoth and went to their community college there, Saracoso, and I stayed in their dorms. It was a sweet program. Like, I think I literally took art and weight training to be able to stay in these. Yeah, it was. I didn't really even go to school. I just was like, I just want to snowboard and take the minimum that I need to be able to, you know, stay there. So I did that, and I literally was going up there to pursue snowboarding. I was like, if I'm gonna try to go big, I'll put 1 year into my life and push it and see where I can get. And that's what I did at the time. And at the time, it was actually, I hate saying the name, but the Pay the Rent dudes were up there.
Uh-huh.
And they hated on us. Like, I had my buddy Levi. I don't know if you guys know Levi the Lion at all on Instagram. He's a shredder. And at the time, me and him, he would always come stay with me, and we would shred like every day. And the Pay the Rent dudes would just constantly be hating on us because we would be running the same laps in the park, and I would always be laying out a backflip, like, try something new, but, you know, and it's like, guys, we're just out here having fun. Like, isn't that what matters? Is just having fun.
Yeah.
So we did battle with those guys quite a bit, the Pay the Rent dudes. And what's so funny nowadays is my buddy Levi, I think, rides for that group, Pay the Rent. So it's everything is
Full circle.
full circle.
Yeah.
And it's like, see, like, why do you got to act like that? There's no reason for that. But yeah, there was a little bit of beef for sure with those dudes.
So was that it? Are you just kind of like giving us like this, what's a pageant, you know, like the beauty pageant answer?
There was just so much that was going on. Like, I just remember they would be on the chairlift, we would be underneath them, and they would be cussing us out. And it's like, dude, I'm barely 18. You guys are in your mid-20s. Like, grow up, kind of. But again, that was that kind of style back then where, like, if the young guns were throwing down or whatever, they didn't like that. Where nowadays, I feel like we like that. Like, we like seeing that. But back then, they were like, oh, no, if these guys are coming up, they can't, like, you know, push us out of the scene and all this. So
Yeah.
Ego's got the best of them.
the ego was huge back
Glad
then.
that's kind of dying off, but
I agree.
I
agree.
I do remember from my time, and not talking shit on SoCal or California in general, but even the moto scene out there, we're getting to moto more.
Yeah, dude.
But the moto scene in Southern California compared to the Northwest,
Fucked up.
people hate on you, and they're not willing to help you out and stuff and give you tips, and it's a lot different out here. So, and through time, you know, it's kind of changed too. So,
Oh yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah.
So how long did you stay in Mammoth?
I just did the year there, and then I came back home. But before that, I would go to Mammoth like every year. We'd go up there and with my buddies, we'd go snowboard, mountain bike. So like I was there year round for 5 years before I graduated high school. And then right after high school, I just was like, I'm moving there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and luckily I was able to do a year up there and then moved back home, and then did not even a year back at home, and then we moved up here.
Oh, so that was quick transition.
Super quick transaction. Yeah.
Yeah. So up here now, and maybe before we completely kind of shift gears with snowboarding, but maybe we were talking downstairs in the bar of like how we met,
Right.
and it was with J Bob. And I literally don't know J Bob's name either, except for he was J Bob running the park, right? But just people from the mountain he was at Silver, but that was opening day at Lookout. It was Jeff and I were up there, and you guys were up there, and we were just hitting early season POW on opening day, and in their massive lift line when they had just that 2-pack, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, you guys want some beers? And just kind of chatting there. And
I remember I think it was back then you guys wore matching beanies too back then, didn't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, people
maybe a little
recognize
bit.
us from the orange beanie.
Yeah, I remember the orange beanie
You're
was being
like,
like,
hey, are you guys wild cannons?
Yep.
And we're like, yeah, you want a beer?
yep.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
Gang mentality,
Here's a beer and a sticker and a smelling salt.
basically. So that was kind of our first meeting, and then we started seeing you up at Silver.
It was mainly Silver, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And I've been to Silver is kind of my home mountain. I only live 15 minutes from there, so it's kind of dumb for me not to snowboard there. But I go to Mount Spokane. I don't think I've even seen you guys at Mount Spokane. Maybe 49 a couple times.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just been Silver really and Lookout. Yeah.
Yeah, we ride up there quite a bit.
Those
See you
two
up
mountains
there.
are good.
They are good. When it's good, it's good.
Yeah. No, it actually sucks. So don't go there.
Don't go there.
Yeah, the lift lines are super long in the morning.
One of the worst mountains in the area. So
But I just love it because the days, at least even the days we're up there, are there days when we're not up there, you're up there hitting those, early POW turns.
Oh, yeah.
Loving it. So it kind of fits in with our riding style.
For sure.
And get into more of this, deep dive into snowboard talk. We're going to have Jeff get after some questions for you.
What you got, Jeff?
Oh, well, we are all wondering your biggest influence, like who is your biggest and who was, and maybe who is now. And as you talked about back when you started, and
Right.
did you have any idols, and you were just riding around with your buddies?
I was just riding around with my buddies. I really don't think I looked up to anybody. No, because I wasn't.
Because they were teasing you.
Yes, they were. And I don't know. Like, I guess I looked up to my buddies I was riding with. I always wanted to get to their level, and then they were always. Then I would get to that level, and then they would be progressing again, and we'd always just try to catch them constantly. But in the snowboard world, it was really my buddies. I never really thought I was gonna go anywhere. I wanted to go anywhere with snowboarding, so it wasn't like, oh, I want to be, the top dog. It was just I want to have fun with my buddies and get better.
What about now? Is there any big gun that you look up to?
I mean, Travis Rice is just a beast at the end of the day. Just his backcountry riding and how old he is. I wish I can, at
Easy.
that age.
Easy.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. Like at that age to be shredding and still beating all these underdogs
Very true.
and young dogs that's nuts. So that would be my idol for sure.
All right. Another question would be the Skijor.
Yep.
You're involved in that, making it, and you judged it. Were you ever in
I
it?
judged it 2 years prior, and then this year I just kind of helped build the course.
And then
So-
maybe you want to go back and explain a little more about that Wallace event of the extreme ski joring and
Yep.
kind of walk
Yep.
us through that.
Well, before I even really knew about it, it was just ran by, I think, the city of Wallace. They just kind of, before it was, I think it was horseback.
Yeah,
Horseback pulled
originally,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a regular Skijor style. And then I think it was when the year before Nick moved here, they started using the side-by-sides and whatnot, and that kind of brought a new kind of scene to it. It's a whole new extreme. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
makes sense. It's fitting for Wallace. Though,
Oh, for
it's kind of
sure.
like a side-by-side quad kind of town. So
Yeah.
it's fitting.
But I just remember the first year Nick kind of got introduced to it and helping out with it. He asked me, hey, do you want to come help build and whatnot? And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll do whatever I can to help out. So ever since then, it's just grown to be more and more. But really, it's just building and then help judging. That's about it. I don't help put on the event.
Okay.
That's still
Would you ever do it?
Possibly, yeah. Oh yeah. I would rather put on like my own event.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's keep that in the books.
Oh yeah.
The tank slam or something like that. I don't know. We'll think of something better. But
And I guess the last quick question I always like to ask everybody is your setup. What's your setup? What are you riding right now?
I'm on
stance, like boots, blah blah.
Stance, I'm 12-12. Boots, I'm riding Adidas, which they don't make.
They're really
them
skinny,
anymore.
aren't they?
What's that?
Are they?
The boots?
Yeah.
What do you mean skinny?
I mean, if like a narrow foot?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
They're I don't know. They're
The sole. Every time I think you're not even riding snowboard boots when I see you.
really.
I'm not. I shouldn't have said that on the podcast.
I don't know. I mean, I love my Adidas snowboard boots. I really can't ride any other boot because of they have the the air padding in the footing, and that helps with I've destroyed my ankle, so that gives me some supportive support when I'm riding.
So Adidas is his brand.
Yeah, which is sadly Adidas doesn't even make boots anymore. So I
That's
actually,
like Nikes, right?
Yeah,
Everybody loved Nikes.
Yes. So I actually bought 2 other
As many
pairs.
as
Yeah, I have 2 freshies ready to go for the next
smart.
hopefully 4 years or so.
That's awesome.
But I'm on
then
the
what board?
nitro right now. I'm on the Squash is the main board I ride. All kind of POW boards. The Squash, the Cannon. That's kind of what I just bounce back to in the wintertime. Yeah. Don't
Yes.
really. Park board is I got a Capita Scotty Stevens. Yeah. So
You have a question, Ryan?
I'm just gonna say, you're definitely like that swallowtail guy. Like
I
when
love the swallowtail.
me too. Like we're just like that back foot, light in the back foot, just light feet, and just
Yep. Well, what's
just-
weird is my back foot is the leg that's most jacked up. But when I ride a normal board, for some reason, the weight pressure on a normal board just destroys my back leg way more than like a swallowtail. A swallowtail it feels better. I don't know why. When you think it would be the opposite.
I'm in that same boat. I'm not riding a swallowtail, but just a shorter tail.
Does it feel better?
It's way better. It's kept me snowboarding longer.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know.
But and looking at you two as you're sitting next to each other, you're both riding swallowtails, both about the same build.
both pimp style,
I was gonna say, yeah,
Both big bugs.
yeah,
aka Goofy.
pimp style, whatever. Because I'm the only regular rider here. So this year, I know that people are getting you guys confused. Got some laps together. Yeah,
I think you
Yeah.
did tell me
Happened.
that.
Yeah. Somebody was yelling Frank from the chairlift. That happened twice. That happened once at Silver and once at Lookout this year.
That's good,
Yeah.
dude. Heck
yeah.
yeah.
We just need to get you an orange
Orange
beanie now.
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna say you always got the orange beanie on.
Yeah.
We started switching it up this year. Just
Is that a thing with you guys? Like you guys got to have the same beanies always, or?
I just I like crew. I like the crew mentality. I like just having fun, and I think it's just a joke just to be like, let's all wear orange beanies.
Well, what's good with that too is you guys like stand out, and as horrible as it sounds, like if there was something to happen, orange is the best color. Like you'll see that for sure.
I was thinking about that a lot. Like it's good to have. We didn't need them this past year because we didn't have snow deep enough, but
No, 100%.
It is definitely that.
Orange is good.
From wearing I normally wear bright jackets, and that stem from riding in trees and riding backcountry, so you can see. Because a lot of times, not that I'm riding the fastest, but I'm out front
Right.
a lot in it, so it's a nice beacon. Or knowing people are like, oh, I can see where you're at
Correct.
very easily, and it's the same for all of us on it.
it's good for that northwest fog.
Yeah.
Can't see shit besides our beanies.
It's so true. So I mean, great questions there. Is there anything else that you want to touch on, Jeff?
Skijor.
Skijor looks crazy.
I want to try it sometime.
You should definitely try it. All you guys should try it for sure.
We'll have the Wild Cannon team.
Can I judge it? I'll just
Yeah,
judge
Nick
it.
asked about
You should judge it.
judging, and that's more my speed.
Yeah.
Well, I know this past year he was kind of hurting to find a judge.
I remember
so-
he was asking for judging.
Yeah.
For this last year. So
Yeah, so maybe next year, Nick, we can help you out in that area.
I'll go straight air it. And, yeah. I'll do nose grab.
We had Riley in here taking hardware away. So you might have some.
He won it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
yeah. You mentioned a few things about injuries, and we have some more stuff to cover. But even downstairs, we're talking about injuries. You and I were going back and forth of some
Our
injuries.
injuries.
So like where do you want to start that?
Oh man, I'll start it with my knee because that kind of, well, I should say, hold on. When I was in Mammoth, that's when my quadricep muscle was tearing. So before I moved to Mammoth, I was having some knee issues, and while I was in Mammoth, I fully blew out my knee, and my quadricep muscle was slowly tearing over time, which is your quad that's connected to your kneecap. And just hitting all the big jumps in Mammoth and riding constantly, the fibers just slowly were tearing and tearing. And then finally they fully tore. And it was actually one day I was in my little condo up in Mammoth, just sitting there playing Xbox. And I got up to get up and my whole kneecap dislocated. Like my kneecap went into the back of my leg.
And how old were you at the time?
18.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, it was-
drinks to that.
I saw Jesus. That's how bad the pain was for sure. And I remember when that happened, I mean, I had to put my whole kneecap back into place myself. And I just remember that was not right. Like something was wrong, but I kept going through life totally fine. Like nothing's really
Dude.
wrong. Like, but then all of a sudden it just kept dislocating and dislocating. And it would happen more frequently and frequently. And then I was like, okay, something's really, really wrong.
Gotta go get it checked out.
So
Yeah,
luckily,
after the first time, it wasn't enough of a signal.
it took me 5 times. 5
Crazy,
times to dislocate, and then I was like, all right, I need to go see somebody. And we saw like 2 different orthopedics, and they were like, nothing's wrong. Like, go get an MRI. I got an MRI. They're like, we don't see anything. I was like, what the heck? Like, something's definitely wrong. And then finally we went to this one orthopedic, and he like right off the bat, he didn't even see my MRI. He just touched my knee and was like, your quad's not attached to your leg. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, try to just lift your leg up, and where your knee is, like I couldn't lift up my ankle, nothing would come up. And he was saying that's because your quad's not attached. And I'm like, oh man, that's right when I was pushing actually mountain biking, trying to turn pro. And I was like, oh, okay, so what does this mean? He's like, you're gonna need to have surgery, you're gonna be off the bike for over a year. And I'm just like, oh man, this is brutal. So I went through it all, did the surgery. It was about a year off the bike, had some complications, but then finally came back even stronger, luckily. But that was very brutal. The knee surgery was brutal.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
they sewed they pulled, because my quad was all the way up into almost my hip, the muscle. So they pulled it back down, and then I have 75 internal stitches that are stitched to my quad and my kneecap, holding it together. So, and I live with that until I die.
Yeah.
So that was like the first big injury.
And that's your back leg.
That's actually my front leg.
Front leg.
Yes. Kind of luckily. But fast forward a little bit. I was filming a mountain bike up at Silver, and I think that was 2019. And just had a stupid crash, and I rode clipped in at the time to my bike, so my feet don't really come out unless you turn your feet. And I wadded myself up, my foot didn't come out, and I broke my ankle really bad and put a defect in my tibia plafond, just destroyed my ankle. Like, there was no surgery really to fix it. I saw all types of orthopedics all around, the best of the best. No one was like, no, we're not going to touch it. And that's still to this day the injury that hurts the most.
And that's the opposite side of your knee.
That's my back leg.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to
Opposite.
ride swallowtails.
There you go.
It helps the ankle huge. And then on top of that, right after that, I tore my meniscus in that same knee. Had 25% of my meniscus taken out. Just, that was nothing too serious. And then in 2021, I dislocated my hip and broke my femur at Beacon Hill here, local. Was backflipping my bike and didn't get my bike fully around, was clipped in and just fell straight back down. The bike just blew my hip right out the back.
Were you just like free riding with the boys, or were you at a contest or anything?
Just free riding, having a good time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and
Good time.
listened to my buddies, and they were like, "Oh, you got the backflip, dude! Try it." And that was the first time I ever really thrown a
That's what I was-
backflip on the bike. And dumb of me to think to do it with clipped in.
Exactly, yeah,
I
clipped
should have
in.
been on flats.
Yeah.
And got right up, straight up and down, and just came straight back down.
That's
I
your-
thought I broke my back, but dislocated hip, broke femur, had surgery on that.
But you're still doing backies now on the bike?
No, I don't. Not since
Just,
then.
just on the
Sending.
snow.
Just on the snow, yeah. 2 wheels. I like to just throw some fat whips. That's it.
We'll get into it. Some of those jumps are fucking huge. So
Yeah.
Sweet.
But those are kind of the big injuries that I've had.
sweet injuries. Those are gnarly.
Speaking of mountain biking.
Yeah, so happy to see you riding and riding it strong. So I didn't know that.
Well, that's what's funny is a lot of the orthopedics told me
Never.
you wouldn't ride again, you wouldn't walk again. And of course, me and my mom and dad were just like, are you kidding me? It's not true. That's why, like, to this day now, when orthopedics tell me that stuff, it's like, you don't know what we're doing. We're athletes are different than the normal breed. Normal people kind of let that injury just take them down, where you can't let that happen. You got to overcome it.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers to that.
Yes, sir.
Having you here, still riding, flipping.
Oh yeah, boys.
I can't reach all the way over there. There we go.
Don't dislocate your shoulder trying to reach over there, man.
Yeah, I'm just coming off dislocated shoulder.
That's
from,
what they were telling me, dude.
because I'm so good in the park.
Still, dude, that's not fun.
Yeah,
Shoulder injury
it was
is
a bad
not
one.
fun.
Hills and Sachs fracture. If anybody knows what that is, go look it up.
So you actually fractured it.
Yeah, it's a piece of cartilage when you dislocate it, it normally breaks, and then when you pop it back in, then it normally shatters, and that's when you have to have surgery. So, yeah,
We don't ride park.
Only 4% of dislocations go out the back, and mine went out the back. So, yay me! But no surgery, and really my rehab has been great, and that was basically my focus. And still got some pow days in the sling with the boys.
I did see that.
So that was good. The few that we had. As we keep moving forward, you're talking about downhill mountain biking, and we want to get into that. We're going to get into some moto questions. Is there anything else that you're passionate that you're doing, like outside?
I mean, I love diving, jumping off bridges, doing that stuff. I just love
stupid stuff.
I love stupid stuff. Yeah, stupid stuff, but with some type of control, chaos control.
Yeah,
I like
control
that.
chaos.
Yes, exactly.
Do you want to talk a little about that stupid ass bridge jumping from I don't know how high up? Then it's not like you're just jumping. You're backflipping,
flipping doubles.
Yeah.
This year I'm hoping to get. I think it's like a back 10. It's like a back double 360 spin. A lot of the divers would know what it's called. I don't know what it's called. I'm just going off snowboard tricks, but I think it's like a back 10 almost.
Yeah, I'm like gainer, cannonball,
Right.
jackknife.
This has got like a backflip with three 360s in it, and also just trying to stay as straight as possible.
And where are you finding most of these?
There's places to jump.
Yeah.
Right next to where I live, like not even 5 minutes away, there's the Silver Bridge, and it's got perfect. You can go from like 35 feet, 45 feet to 70 feet.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect spot to throw down.
Into the Coeur d'Alene River?
Yes, up the North Fork River there,
Yeah.
like not even 2 minutes past the Snake Pit.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So just like thinking about, so you're wearing shoes sometimes when you're doing that?
Yeah, I've got like the special toe shoes, or I do it with no shoes, either or. It hurts your feet though. It hurts your whole entire body, to be honest.
Cool, I'll just watch.
When you pencil, it's like my knees after hurt. It's a lot of impact, and then if the water's cold, then it's denser, so it's gonna hurt even more. So even if you're just barely off rotation a little bit, you slat. It's just you got to be so precise, and that's what I kind of like about it.
I've only done something like that once, and that was what's that in the falls, Post Falls? Allegedly you climb over the fence.
You're talking that bridge in Post Falls at the dam,
the bridge and the rocks.
at the dam.
Yeah, like the power place. That Vista.
I've been wanting to hit that spot.
Yeah. And I'm scared of heights. My leg was like a sewing machine. So I don't know how you feel now. Like there's no way I'll do that now. Like I'm over that phase.
I
of
feel
my
like
life.
that's probably 60 feet plus there. No,
The
That's a
bridges
big- that's a
where we
big
were
boy.
jumping was like almost 90.
wow.
We ran out of we're using caution tape to measure how tall it was.
Yeah.
And because it depends on the water level.
Yeah. Well,
So-
anything over like 40 feet hurts.
Yeah. So we're jumping off.
Jumping the Silver Bridge.
You're talking about, so that 45 feet was 60 feet?
Well, it's 60 to 70 feet's the tallest point, and then you got the main bar, which is kind of where I usually jump from, is like 45 feet. And
And
that's just like fun. You can't really get too hurt if you over rotate. The 60 and 70, like it's fun when you want to show off, but on a daily basis, it's not fun. It hurts.
Yeah, there's some showmanship with that. Me,
Oh,
not
100%.
No.
Yeah.
I'll be in the floaty with the beer or on a paddleboard.
Hey, we need filmers, dude.
I'll be a filmer. That's kind of where I've become in the snowboard world as well. I'm like, dude, I'll film. I got you.
Get the shot.
Need 'em.
Yeah, unless it's powder, then I'm like, maybe.
No, I get my
rotate.
one turn of the day, and I'm good. I'll film everybody else.
Well, that sounds cool. You know that you're doing all this crazy and stuff, or it is really cool. It doesn't sound cool. We've seen you do it, not in person. Maybe out this year, you can take us up there and we'll drink beers and watch you. Maybe Ryan will jump, huh?
The 45. That's about it.
45.
Yeah, pencil dive and
Hey,
maybe a watermelon off the 15.
as long
for the
as you're
ladies.
having fun, dude.
What's a watermelon?
You don't know what watermelon is?
What's a
I
watermelon?
actually don't know what a watermelon is.
Oh, you just go into like a ball and just head first and just go straight down.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it hurts and it looks ridiculous. So
So classic Ryan. Yeah. All right. Cool. So maybe we'll get up there, do some watermelons, and drink some beers.
my homies from high school will be pumped. Talk about watermelons. It might be an East Coast thing. I don't know.
We'll need to look that
I
up.
definitely have never heard of a watermelon.
We'll chuck one this year for you
Yeah,
guys.
Heck
that's
yeah.
upstate New York shit right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, mountain biking. So, asking that kind of same story, like, where'd you get started, and then maybe lead us into racing.
Well, I've always kind of been on two wheels. I started off BMXing when I was super young, probably around like 8 years old. Always building dirt jumps in the backyard. Just loved being on two wheels. And then it was about when I moved to Mammoth, or right before I moved to Mammoth, my buddy kind of introduced downhill to me. I remember going up to Mammoth and renting the rental bikes and being like, these things are so sweet. Like, they can do whatever. These are insane. I remember leaving that trip being like, they had the rental bikes for sale. And they were like $900 that time, which to me, that was like a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
For a bike. I'm like, what the heck? And I remember telling my mom, like, Mom, can you help me out? I want a downhill bike. And luckily my parents are badass. And they're like, yeah, we'll get it for you. And that was my first ever downhill bike, was a Rocky Mountain Flatline Park from Mammoth. It was one of the rental bikes. And I was on that bike for probably 3 or 4 years, raced it, like just,
Did it all.
yeah, did it all on that bike.
Ran the wheels off of that thing, probably.
Pretty much. And if you don't know anything about downhill, like $900 for a downhill bike is actually very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to like plow on that bike was I was honored.
And so we were talking about, like, so BMX, were you just building jumps and you weren't competing at all, just for fun?
Just for fun, always just build. We had 2 acres in Phelan, and I just had like a 7-pack of dirt jumps in the backyard, always just building them taller. And I just loved throwing whips and hanging out with the buddies.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's sweet.
And then I got introduced into downhill and then just fell in love. Because before all of that, I raced motocross when I was young too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always just on 2 wheels, and I was like, okay, I can find something that doesn't have a motor, which isn't going to scare my parents away. Because long story short, I got ran over way back in the day racing dirt bikes, and that scared my parents from me ever riding a dirt bike again.
Okay.
So it was nice to find mountain biking.
They were like, sure, we'll buy you a bike with no motor.
Right.
Yeah,
And
this is
little-
gonna be really
little did they
safe.
know it's actually more dangerous.
Fast forward to you trying to hook a backflip at a peak.
I've been way more hurt on a mountain bike than a dirt bike. Way more hurt. So
Well, if you have more stories where we want to get into a little bit of that moto, and but we'll keep trekking along with mountain biking. Then racing, were you racing like up here? Because you're talking about going pro. So what's the bridge from?
from being like non-pro to pro.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I feel like you're giving us this great story, and
Right.
we want the dirt, we
Well,
want the
so, like,
details.
Right before my quad tour, I was also kind of racing a little bit down in California in Fontana. And that was like just, you have like Cat 3, Cat 1. So it would kind of be like C and B class kind of. And I was racing like B class back then and doing pretty well. And then I tore my quad and I was like, oh man. So I got to, recover from that. And once I recovered from that, I was already in Mammoth riding all those trails and whatnot. And I remember coming back to Southern California being like, okay, I'm going to actually push this hardcore. And Fontana was still going on. And I bumped up the class, which would pretty much be A class, and was doing actually very well. And then at the same time, we were transitioning to moving up here. And I found the Northwest Cup was up here in the Pacific Northwest. So like, okay, when I move up here, I'm going to start racing Northwest Cup. So when I moved up here, I transitioned into Cat 1 up here, 19 through 29, and I was having issues with that because of the California results didn't really transfer up here, so they want me to be like almost at C class. And I remember the first race, I raced like a C class. It was like Cat 3 and just dominated. And they're like, okay, we'll put you up into Cat 1.
Yeah.
My first year racing Cat 1, I took the overall, just pretty much dominated it all. And from when you do that, you can pretty much bump up to pro. You have all the points, everything. So after that year, I bumped up into pro, which was in 2019. Turned pro in 2019 and raced pro for a little over 2.5 years and just kind of got burnt out. The money wasn't really there. I wasn't at that high like UCI World Cup level. I was more like a national level, which wasn't paying a lot, plus the injuries. So I was just like getting a little burnt out. It was fun, but a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's just like nuts. Very humble. You're very humble with it. So I'm glad that you help expand on that, because I think it's good to note that you do have that background. And I was with Chris Andreessen of the Bike Hub.
Yep.
And we were talking, and then your name came up, because I'm always like, you ride bikes, and he's like, you snowboard. Awesome.
I love Chris, by the way. He's a good dude.
And he was like, oh yeah, he rips. So did you have any sponsors, or like, did you have a local shop? Like, were you connected in the Silver Valley?
California, I really didn't have any sponsors. It was kind of when I moved up here, the sponsors kind of started kicking in. My first sponsor was actually Space Brace, the hat I'm wearing right now. It was right when he was kind of starting his company, and that was right after my ankle injury. And I was like, we can kind of work together. I think your product would work great for me. And he was more in the BMX industry, where I was in the downhill. So it kind of opened his door to push his product in the downhill scene.
What is that, a knee brace?
It's an ankle brace, which now they make knee braces, wrist braces, all of it. Yeah.
Where are they out of?
They're out of BC, Canada. Yeah. And they were my first sponsor, and then after that, I kind of got hooked up with the Bike Hub. It wasn't like a full-blown sponsor, but kind of a shop sponsor. They were hooking me up because I was constantly breaking my bike.
Yeah.
And they were the go-to shop.
Yeah.
So they helped me out huge. I had just a couple little small sponsors, nothing like super big. I was never really pushing either. I never really built my resume. And I did it in such a short span that I didn't really have like this, I don't know. Like
you went from resume. Like a rental, bike
to
that you're
900
to racing pro in 2 years.
Yeah.
It was fast
That's
transition.
wild.
Yeah.
Quick reflexes on the guy.
It was gnarly.
And then this kind of transitions that you can, tell us about. If we're always searching people's Instagrams for, a little material. But you have yourself as a self-proclaimed dirt artist.
Correct.
Elaborate.
Well, I've been digging in the dirt ever since I can remember. Like growing up, just building dirt jumps. And like I was always I just wanted everything to look like artwork. Like I wanted to work good and hit proper, but also wanted to look really good. And just growing up, I always just loved digging in the dirt. I don't know.
And that was all shovel, like hand?
All shovel work, no machine whatsoever. Okay. And then after I stopped kind of racing pro, I in 2020 got hit up by Silver Streak Zip Lines in Wallace. They were looking to build a bike park. And I was kind of the local dude at the time, and I was like, okay, I'll come check it out. And I remember going over there being like, this could be something huge. Like, huge. And I really didn't have too much machine background. It was all handwork background. And he kind of was like, if you're coming up here, we're going to throw you in an excavator and kind of just build whatever your imagination can be. And I was just like, what kind of opportunity is this? This is insane right now. And I think you remember at the time because you were kind of contacting me with your outdoor magazine kind of.
Yeah. Trying to help fellow snowboarders.
That's kind of how my trail building and that whole image got started, was at SVR, building that out there. And I kind of created pretty much what was in here. I just put out there, and it was next level builds.
Yeah.
Like next level. You don't see that stuff other than it's like Fest series builds.
Yeah.
And no one really knew that I had that in me, but I knew I had that in me. I just needed somewhere to show it off.
Yeah.
And luckily, Scott, the owner of SVR, he let me do that. And sadly, we had a falling out, and he took some bad financial ways. But what I had going up there was like world class.
Yeah,
World class.
that's
And
what I heard.
that's where my trail building and professional trail building background came from. Once a lot of the pro riders saw what I was doing, they were like, they knew I was on that game.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah. So
And they had zip lining. That was like their main thing, right? It was based off. Was it Canada based? Like mirroring someplace in Canada? Was that right?
my bike park, that was the bike park we were going for.
Like kind of the whole idea of having a zip line and bike park kind
Well, I don't think
package.
Well, what I was going off of was Coast Gravity Bike Park in Canada,
Okay.
Vancouver. I was going for more of that style, but the zip line just kind of added to it.
Right.
Like you had a zip line park with a
You
bike
have
park.
you have the land.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
make money on it.
But sadly, the owner, he just wasn't. He wasn't a mountain biker, so it wasn't. We didn't meet equally.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
We'll dig, but we won't make you dig on that one. So thanks for sharing that. It sounds like you're still doing it with the ski joring.
Ever since, so after the whole falling out with SVR, I've created my own trail building company.
And that's what I was gonna get into. So it's share what you're working on and then your company.
Okay. Well, currently I'm just doing like just general earthwork, excavation, trenching, whatever. That's like to make money, I'll do that. But then we have our big bids, which would be like a trail building bid, which I currently don't have a trail building bid right now, and I haven't had one in 2 years. They're hard to find because they're very competitive. You're always traveling across the whole U.S. trying to bid on these jobs, and it's not easy. I was trying to get one in Sandpoint. Sadly, I lost that to some guys in Colorado. So the bidding process is just really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But currently, I build on my 10 acres at my house, which you guys probably see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like my compound.
Right. And
And
what's
I can
what's
do-
what's the name of that?
That's just the Bear Ridge compound.
There we go. There we go.
Yep. And we've got moto and mountain bike trails. And I got the free range to do whatever I want, which is sweet.
Awesome. So is this kind of like just like a boys hangout area? Are you looking to do something bigger with it?
So it's literally where I live. It's right behind our house right there. Like it's my backyard. And we have 2 neighbors that live on the same hill as us. And it's we're good friends with them, but I'm battling like having all this public come up because it's one dirt road. And it's like, I don't want to piss off the neighbors, But my main goal is to have it like a private venue. Like companies can come up and shoot their videos for their company, throw like whip off and jump jams, just like a private compound to do whatever you want.
Right. It's just like a BMX mountain bike moto kind of like dreamland on 10 acres, right? Like kind of
Yeah.
to describe it to people listening. It's just perfectly manicured jumps, like
Yes.
flow lines.
Yes, single
Just-
track
Yeah.
with all your log hopping for enduro. It's the training compound at the end of the day as well.
And you guys have like a kind of like sleeping area there that you can like the campsites kind of like hookups.
You could
like
definitely dry camp right now, but our plan is to build 2 yurts and then rent those 2 yurts out. And then if that does well, we'll build more yurts. But hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have 1 or 2 yurts up there.
That's
So you
awesome.
can come hang out, shred, get like your own private venue to kind of session. It's a sweet vibe.
Plus being so close to Silver Mountain, if you're
Correct.
that's what I remember telling me on the chairlift this winter, is just like right there, which makes
Yeah.
so much sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you could stay there, ride the compound.
And you're at Silver
right-
in
yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can ride Silver all day and then come flow your sick jump line until the sun goes down.
Yep.
And
Build
then
a bonfire.
Jump
Yep.
off a 70-foot bridge and
You get hot, just go down the river and go send it.
Yeah. Like a summer dreamland.
I love it.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
You guys are more than welcome. You guys need to come out.
Sweet.
I'll be out.
Can't wait to see Jeff on a dirt bike.
Not on the mountain bike. But
No,
Whiskey
no
throttle.
backies.
Yeah, no baggy.
What was doesn't Pastrana have one? What's the name of his? Doesn't he have like a Pastrana land or something?
It's
Yeah,
like
Pastrana
Pastrana
Land.
land, and then there's
There's a
like-
couple of them. Getting one out here in Washington where
Oh,
you
yeah.
train at.
And then like Cam Zink. I don't know if you guys know Cam Zink. He's a big mountain biker. He's got his compound in Utah, which like they just threw a huge event 2 weeks ago there. It's the Cam Zink Invitational. So I kind of want to do something like that.
the
but
Hill
it's-
Brothers have a cool compound in Oregon. They do the Hill Jam. Josh
Okay.
Hill and
Oh, that's
Justin
the one where
Hill.
they
Yeah, they do like crazy whips and then a hill climb.
the hill climb. Yeah. It's like that first pitch and
I don't think they're doing it this summer, but looks pretty cool.
I'm just trying to do that with moto and mountain biking, kind of the combo. And then who knows? I would love to put a some type of tow rope in the winter would be sweet too.
I saw you hitting was it this year or maybe it was the winter before?
I have a wood drop there, and I was sessioning that. There's a couple little things you can session in the yard, but if I put a clear cut in, it's definitely like you can put a rope tow or a hike park in for sure. And that's what we've been kind of trying to do at Nick's property too in Wallace. He's got his little compound going too.
Yeah, so I can't wait to talk with Nick. We'll get you on here. We'll get you on here. I know I spoke to you about it, and you fed us some info. But that's awesome to hear what you guys have going on there and elaborating more because I didn't know everything else that you had going. We're just gonna shift gears, start talking about some moto, the hard enduro, the Silver Kings. I don't know exactly what they're calling it right now. But before that, I know Ryan's really interested, and I know I'm really
Ryan's
interested.
a moto specialist.
But Ryan's our moto specialist. But it was Anaheim.
Yes.
And what else was there, Ryan?
We'll let Frank take it over, but I just know that you were there with one of the legends, Aaron Plessinger.
Yeah.
And with some horses involved.
Yeah, the horses. What was?
You could take us through that. That looked pretty cool.
Okay. So actually, my best friend Chad, he lives in California. He used to live up here in Post Falls, and he moved back down to California about 4 years ago. He met this beautiful woman that they're engaged now, and she's big into horsebacking, trains horses, and she's big horse girl. And Fell Entertainment, which is who puts on Supercross and all that, they were looking for someone that had horses because they wanted to make Aaron Blessinger's interview or his intro video. And my buddy Chad called me. He was like, "Hey, dude, like Fell Entertainment just hit Brina up asking to, use her horses, blah, blah. Like, if this goes through, do you want to come down? Like, we'll get you an extra ticket." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, that sounds sick. Like, okay, if that happens, let me know." Mm-hmm. And finally, they connected all, and it was going through. So I was like, I'm buying a ticket. I'm flying down.
So sick. Was that A1 or A what?
That was A2. Yeah, it was a Triple Crown. And so I just flew down there and hung out with them. We literally hung out with Red Bull KTM that whole day, hanging out with AP, and he was so cool.
Like you were done track walk and stuff.
I was track walk. I was in the pits with them. I touched his bike. And he was rad, super rad. Like you wouldn't even think he was who he is. Those are the dudes I actually look up to, or guys like that.
For sure. Super humble.
Yes.
Like yourself, so.
But yeah, no, I went down there, had a great time at A2, and got the full VIP treatment with Supercross, and no, it was awesome, really cool.
Dude, that's rad.
It was rad.
It was sick.
Well, let's get more into moto. How long? Like you said, you touched on a little before that you used to race moto. Like when did you get into the dirt bike life? Dirt
biking again. I've been probably on a dirt bike since I was 6. My first bike was a KX65. And rode dirt bikes all the way until kind of now. I took probably a 5-year break when I was racing downhill, but before that was constantly was twisting the throttle.
So you lining up Southern California. I'm trying to paint the picture for some people.
Dude, okay, so
40 kids just ready to just tear each other's heads off.
I live 20 minutes away from Competitive Edge, if anybody knows that. I was 20 minutes away from there. I was 30 minutes away from Racetown and 30 minutes away from Glen Helen. 45 minutes away from Paula, just
Mecca.
Paris, the Mecca. Like all the rippers come out of that. I've been on the track side by side bars with Adam Cincerello, all the big dogs. AP probably back in the day I was with him. I just didn't know him at the time, but I raced with all those dudes, and that should tell you the class down there was next level.
Yeah.
Next level. But I remember I had a race at Racetown. It was open class. I got the whole shot out of the gate. There's 3 tables. I scrubbed the first one, and my front tire clipped the landing. I went over the bars, and it was all blind from the riders coming over, and they were just coming over and landing on me, and I was knocked out. My dad had to drag me off the track. It was
every racer's worst fear.
So that's
on the blind side.
That's what stopped my moto career, was that crash there, and my parents didn't want me on a dirt bike anymore.
Did you say how old you were? Or how? Do you know?
That was, I had to been probably 13, 14 at that time.
On a big bike or 85?
I was on a KX100. board
Big
out
wheel.
to a 112. It was actually, do you know who Sarah Price is?
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
her old
She's
practice
a
bike.
ripper.
It was her old practice bike. I bought it off her.
Damn. So yeah, I'm sure that thing was tuned up.
It was all pro circuit. That was sweet.
Shout out to they used to do the women's MX series. I remember and they would go through the pro series like every other race. I think,
Oh, yeah.
but she was.
No, I
ripper.
raced. It was like called the VetX series down there, the REM series at Glen Helen. I raced a lot of dirt bikes back then. Now I'm like kind of getting away from the moto and into the hard enduro scene now.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. And I mean, like, what's kind of like the local scene out here? You know, the moto scene isn't really as big as it is in
Right.
Southern California. So, like, get into how you got into like the discipline. Like, is that kind of hard enduro? Is that like kind of your jam right now? Is that?
It's my jam now. It never used to be though. Like I remember always looking at that and being like, those guys are wild. Like why would you? That does not look fun. It doesn't look fun.
Exhausting.
For anybody that doesn't know, and just as the resident moto dirt bike wild cannons expert here, hard enduro is the most wild dirt bike thing you could do. It's just picture just logs and the most impossible woods track you could ever think, rocks,
Hill climbs.
just death.
Yes.
And huffing and puffing. You have to have a camelback, otherwise you're gonna get dehydrated and pass out and die on the course.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Just to paint the picture. So I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
That's awesome. Thanks.
and trying to keep your bike alive at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cheaters with the recluse clutch, right?
Yeah.
And the electric starts.
Electric start.
I'm
Oh,
over
yeah.
here with none of that. So I'm
You still
kicking.
kickstarting?
Oh yeah, like kickstart
school.
Kenny.
Yeah, baby.
Sorry,
No, that's good. That's the OG way right there.
it's the dumb way.
Yeah, no, hard enduro. It was literally probably last year at Silver Kings. I watched the hard enduro and it kind of clicked at me like I want to try this. This would just try something new because I've raced a lot of mountain bike enduros, and I'm like this is something different. So I just have pursued that ever since then. I'm like I'm gonna try. I bought a 300 and I've just been training and training and training.
You'll be there this year?
Do you
Racing this year.
do
Yep.
you get into a flow when you're kind of like riding hard enduro or just riding trails, kind of like similar to snowboarding? Does that kind of like translate? Do you feel that in hard enduro?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I call it like robot mode.
yeah.
Yeah, you just get in the zone
Like
and just
not thinking about anything else besides what you're doing, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why we love like
Yeah, you
moto
block
and
out
snowboarding.
everything else that's going on in the world, and the only thing you're focusing on is that one thing.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Not stalling your bike.
Not stalling your bike and not trying to get stabbed by stuff and not falling over.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
stab.
the craziest thing about enduro. Like you fall, you got to make sure where you're going to fall on. Even if you're going 1 mile per hour, you might fall on a rock that looks like a spear. It's going to try to cut your intestines out. So
No, facts.
you gotta know what's going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. So let's get into like our home mountain. We ride Silver, and one of the coolest events they do in the summertime. I think it's so cool. They do the Silver Kings hard enduro race. Pretty much start at the town of Kellogg, race. Well, I think they do like a parade lap up the mountain. But
Right.
then
That's always fun.
they do
Yeah,
like a big
from the resort.
from the resort there. Yeah, but yeah, it's like a cool race, and it's really gnarly, and it's kind of one of the biggest dirt bike events of the summer in our area. So
Well, it's actually the biggest hard enduro in the U.S.
yeah, and it kind of
Other
mirrors
than-
Erzberg a little
Correct.
bit.
Other than the Romaniacs and all that stuff, in Erzberg and whatnot, it's the biggest in the U.S.
Yeah. So you're racing that apparently, huh?
I am racing that. I'm
What-
racing the silver class, so which is A class underneath pro. So
So it's gonna be a gnarly course.
it's very gnarly. I've been doing my YouTubing, trying to remember everything.
Well,
I'm
if
like, oh,
anything,
man.
you have a lot of local knowledge of that area.
Yeah.
I think that's really gonna come into.
That's gonna help me
It's gonna
huge
help
for
you
sure.
out a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome. That event looks gnarly. Is are there any kind of like specific training you're doing, like on the bike, off the bike?
On the bike, I'm just trying to ride as much as possible and the kind of the gnarliest stuff. Luckily, like you said, I live right next to Silver and kind of I'm in that same terrain, so it kind of all acts the same, which is super nice. Other than that, I've just been hitting the gym a lot, trying to just stay strong and healthy.
That's
But
awesome.
other than that, there's not a whole lot you can do other than just mindset too.
Yeah.
It's a long race.
It's actually 3 days of racing.
Mm-hmm.
You have like your qualifying, which is the prologue, and then, or actually for us, it's actually I think just 2 days, prologue and then the race day. But still, it's almost 6 hours of racing on race day, 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, we've been the last couple years, and it was hot super hot, no clouds in the sky. And then the next year it was like
Raining.
snowing.
Yeah.
That was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah,
up
I'm
there.
hoping it's as sad as. I mean, I hate the heat, but dry conditions would be the best for traction.
Yeah.
Traction is key.
What's your setup? You're running Moose Bibs?
I'm running the Moose Bibs, and I'll probably punch some holes in them before the enduro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That bike's going to be toast. You're pretty much just going to want to throw
explain-
that away after the race.
That's what I know. I've been dude.
Jeff and I heard Moose Bibs over
Yeah.
here and both looked at each other. Can you explain? I'm hearing punching holes, something, and you're putting maybe it's like some screws through them, like for traction, like in snow, or
No, so it's like it's a foam insert that goes inside your tire, so you can't get a flat tire. Literally, a freaking branch can go through your tire, and you can keep rolling. So it prevents you from not having flats, but also just maximum traction. Just grips that ground. But if you drill holes through the Moose, it gives it even that much more of traction. Yeah, it's just a technique that the enduro.
So you pretty much run your wheel flat so you can go up the hill climbs a lot easier.
Yeah,
'cause
you're
you get a lot of
traction
you're
surface
literally
area, yeah.
completely flat tire.
Yeah. A lot different than the motor world, which is what I'm going to try to convert you to. After this race and you have to trash your $11,000 bike, or get you out to Airway on Thursdays. Shout out Blake, he'll be out there. We'll be out there ripping.
Oh, I need to to out to Airway.
I've seen some videos of you out there at Airway.
It'd be fun.
So I know you know how to get around a motor track. So come ride the vet class with us.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, some more.
That's the other thing I was gonna ask is just your shredder on the mountain bike. Do you think that kind of went hand in hand with helping like your dirt bike skills? Or do you feel like you get a lot of style from your mountain bike, or does that kind of go hand in hand with each other?
They help each other both out for
Yeah.
sure. Like ever since I've been mountain biking, now that I hopped back on the moto, I feel way more loose on the moto, can throw the moto around a lot more. So, and I think even vice versa, when I hop on the mountain bike, I feel like I have almost more control because it's such a light bike and I'm used to having a lot of heavy weight under me. So downhills, it's actually, you can go down even more faster. So they help each other both out. Huge.
I feel like downhill mountain bikers always on the single track just have that
Huge.
extra little like confidence to
Just
send.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do. Hopefully,
yeah.
shoulder's feeling okay.
Yeah.
I know your shoulder's bugging you a little bit, but
give it a little downtime.
yeah, you'll be all right. A little Motrin. It's
Yep.
the vet class. That's what fuels us. Ibuprofen and IPAs.
Yep.
IPAs.
Yes. Yeah. And some smelling salts, maybe.
Don't drink and drive.
What's the date on the race?
The
We like-
26th and through the 28th of it's the end of next month. That
Yeah.
last weekend is the race.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you haven't been, you're just like the smell of the dirt bike.
Two-stroke.
Yeah.
Race
It's an
fuel.
awesome event for all ages. You ride the chairlift down, you can watch them race, or gondola, you can watch them race, and you can ride the chair 1 down. You can ride whatever chair that is, chair 2 up. You can watch them race. I should know the chair.
No, but no, as a
Silver low.
spectator, it's actually super sick.
That's cool.
Super sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, me and T went up there with like a 30-pack of White Claws, and I don't think you were drinking them that much, but
Oh man.
if I
And
remember correctly, that's what.
when it pissed rain on us,
Yeah, it was snowing at some point too.
when we walked out of the
In
lodge,
June, mind you.
out of the lodge, you couldn't see like the sign or like basically the top of chair 1.
Because it was snowing so hard.
Yeah, because it was so snowy and misty.
Yeah,
It was nuts.
pray
Good.
that's not.
I know
what's
you know
going
what Wardener Peak looks like with no snow, but
Oh, I know.
You
What it
guys
looks
are
like.
gonna be-
I know what it looks like in the rock.
that
too.
looks
It's-
so gnarly. It's
That rock
just,
is. I don't even want to walk up that little and try to get.
Yeah.
A motorcycle up it.
But I saw.
just a rock garden.
And Ryan was talking about it in practice. Where are you practicing on those those?
Up on Graham Peak, which is literally the peak. So if you're on Silver Mountain, you just look straight across the valley. That next peak, that's where I've been training. They got huge rock scree fields up in there, and I've been trying to ride all that up in there. It's been nuts.
Crazy.
rock
That's-
avalanche.
Yeah, the rock avalanche. Oh man,
That-
scary.
Well, yeah. Best of luck. Hopefully, we'll all be out there
Heck yeah.
cheering you on.
No, I appreciate
when
it.
you're
I'm gonna need it for sure.
a bunch of
For sure.
miles away. But if you need help, I guess if we can, if you spotters or whatever. I don't know what else you need. What your crew needs up there, but
Sadly, it's you and the bike and what you carrying on you.
I guess speaking of, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did they let you walk or bike the course?
You're allowed to walk the course, but there's no way you can
That's
walk at all.
miles.
It's so much. That's where I have the upper hand. I know the whole terrain.
Yeah.
So I at least know what I'm coming up on and where I'm at on the mountain.
True.
So
And do you have because I just started thinking about that. Is there any sort of once you take off, then if you wave the
Like
white flag, then you're done, right?
like if you had a mechanical out there,
Yeah.
you're pretty much done unless you have it on you.
Okay.
Like if I brought, I'm going to bring extra clutch levers on me and whatnot, so I can try it. If I break one real quick, I can throw it on.
Trail repair.
Yeah, it's quick trail repair. But you pinch a radiator hose or whatever, you're done.
Yeah. I forgot the percentage, but I remember I want to say it's 20% of the people finish the race.
It's not a
Less
whole
than
lot.
that,
Sounds
maybe.
high.
It's
Yeah, that might be high.
Yeah, 'cause,
the
most-
finish rate it's actually it's not that
I know
high.
the novice course is way easier, so obviously they'll have a higher finish rate. But the pro course that you're running,
It's
it's gnarly.
I love the start. The start to me
the
is
start is sick.
just a hammer, whatever, jingle bells, whatever the name of that run is. Silver bells.
Silver bells.
Silver bells. Something bells. But it's awesome when you're at the top.
It's called something else for the Euro.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So covered our moto, mountain bikes, hard enduro, the race that you have coming up. We've been hitting these smelling salts. Have you hit?
I have never hit smelling salts.
Ooh.
I'm scared.
Better buckle up, boy.
I think you might need some of these for the race.
I'm
What do
scared.
they- what do they do?
70-foot bridges, backflip 1080 watermelons.
Is this gonna throw me into a quadruple?
I think
backflip
you
or
might need to
what?
take one up to the top before.
Did you hear that Jet Lawrence is using smelling salts on the line?
I've seen that. I've seen the videos.
It's on chat. Have you heard about that?
No, I
I've
didn't
seen
see
the
it.
videos.
They're seeing him put chapstick on his nose on the line. People are trying to figure out what it was, and
it's the powder?
It's smelling salts that
What?
he's doing before the gate
Him
drop.
and Hunter are doing it. I think they're both are doing it.
Yes, that's him and Hunter.
Ooh.
Well,
You just smell
So,
it.
so
You
yeah,
just
so
put
we'll,
it in
we'll
your-
deal them out. Ryan's our dealer
I'm the resident moto expert and smelling salt dealer.
and smelling salt dealer.
Good thing we have 4.
So
in
I
here.
just smell it.
Well, yeah, so we'll each get
Sorry,
one.
it's taking me forever.
The last one's always hard to get out.
Where do you get these, Ryan?
He gets them from me, so I'm actually the real dealer. he's the pusher.
Somewhere in
Rubs
China,
your walls,
China in
Yeah.
a lab, I think.
Yeah, we're hoping we can get maybe a little hookup here.
Sponsorship?
Yep. friendly handshake.
We're definitely a
and-
good, good image for run through the wall smelling.
I think so. They repost our stuff. Yeah, Ryan, do you want to walk them through?
What do I
Are
got?
we just blasting it and then just gonna keep talking?
Yeah, I think
All
we'll
of them together?
I think we're gonna. Let's all blast one together since we haven't done that yet.
That's all 4 of these. This room is going to explode.
And so you can hit them more than once. You just say that. So
You just smell.
I mean
Yeah, you just squeeze it and it'll pop and it turns red and just let's give it a little whiff.
Yeah, just smell.
If you
it.
want to go in,
like
you go,
like a rose.
Yeah,
So
you-
squeeze it and it's gonna pop.
You can go.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll let you go
Riley,
first.
Riley and Owen both win it. They
Yeah,
went.
like
They
a-
both went for it. So whatever you want
So
to do.
squeeze it.
Yeah. You'll hear it. You'll feel it pop. Yep. It'll wake you up.
What in the living hell?
Okay, go. You got to go for one more.
Dude, he would chuck a double backy right now. I can tell. We should have had you with these this winter.
How is that even possible?
Oh yeah, Ryan
I
and I.
want to feel like that. Oh.
All right, Jeff.
All right.
That one's
What is
ignited.
that? Dude?
It's ammonia.
coming out your eyes.
Yeah. So before Ryan and I like to drop some. Oh my gosh! Now my eyes are watering.
I might need to use this though for before I race, and I get it.
You need to
now.
help. You need literally a big pack of those before Silver Kings.
So maybe
You're gonna win that race.
Wild Cannons might sponsor you with the.
I'm gonna need
with a
it.
jar
That's-
of,
you just
run through
hooked
a
me
wall
on to
right there.
something else.
Can you imagine
That's
ripping that?
insane.
Don't you feel awake right now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
We'll put them inside your full face, and you can just pop them.
Just tape them on there. My eyes are watering this time.
yeah, that's intense.
So fun stuff. Ryan,
I'm not done.
Ryan and I like to smack those right before we drop the
Are you
power
done with
lines.
that? You're not gonna use that anymore.
Wow.
It's funny. I'll find them in
I'm
my
not addicted or anything. It's fine.
find them in my jackets.
Insane. How long does that last?
About 13 seconds.
So in like a minute, it won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Not won't have that big
okay.
hammer. Yeah, your eyes are watering now.
Yeah, that was insane. Insane.
Yeah, fun stuff. We'll get you. We'll get you some. We'll get you some for sure.
Fun stuff.
We'll throw them down to you.
As we're rounding off this, time together, we would like to thank someone that is a new sponsor for us, and that is Swell Coffee. So thank you, Shane. So he's a fellow snowboarder. So he's a owner and operator. They have 2 drive-through locations in the Spokane Valley, 1604 South Sullivan, and then my favorite location, which is on 14505 East Trent.
East Trent.
Yeah, East Trent. They also have, they grind their beans there, and they have a super cool truck that's mobile, and they actually have been working at the gorge during the summer, and it's parked down there, so they service all the roadies, the crew, anyone that's performing. They got some really good shit. So go support them. We want to support snowboard-owned businesses. So thank you so much for being our first sponsor.
Yes, well, thank you.
And they're going to present our hot takes. So we got a few questions for you, and we're going to try to go quick on them. So maybe you need to smell a little more if there's anything left in these guys. Actually, there's a little left in that guy.
A little bit.
All right. So if you had to pick a mountain, silver or lookout?
Silver.
All right. Jibbing or powder?
Powder.
And Nick might have said I need to ask about jibbing. Is there a reason why?
Why?
Why I don't want to jib anymore?
Yeah.
Because he's riding a swallowtail, and you don't put a swallowtail on a jib.
Pretty much that, and I'm just feeling old now and don't want to break myself, and the rails hurt when you land on them, especially on your shins.
Yeah. Totally agreed. So
Or
correct,
your shoulder.
Or your shoulder.
correct answer, powder.
Yep.
Backflips on a snowboard or those fucking tall bridges that you...
Probably the tall bridges.
What?
Damn.
Yeah.
Gainer for life, huh?
It's just that 2 or 3 seconds in the air is, you can't, the feeling is insane.
Well,
It's way better.
you throw sick
You've been doing backflips forever.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, for a long, long time. But I just unlocked a double probably 5 years ago on the board and off the board.
Did you dive in high school, or you did?
No, just even growing up was always cliff jumping, cliff diving. I just always loved jumping off stuff and trampolining and gymnastics.
Oh, there you go.
Trampolines, gymnastics?
Yep.
Background there. Well, I derailed it, so sorry. We were supposed to go fast,
you're
but
good, you're
that was my bad. Local rider, most underrated, or someone that you'd think is like a young blood that should be on the lookout for. Snowboard world.
Snowboard world, damn. I was gonna say if it was skier world, I have somebody.
Does it start with an A?
Yeah.
Okay, say who it is in skier world.
Asher.
Yeah.
Asher. I think if he can just be more calculated, that kid he's got a lot of talent and can go somewhere. He
Yeah.
just needs to be more calculated with his tricks.
Yep.
Same on the moto too. He's killing it.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
just saw
moto.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
But snowboarding, I don't really have. It's hard because I don't really ride Mount Spokane, so I don't really see that next upcoming Grom.
Yeah.
Where at Silver,
'Cause
you don't.
there are none.
There's none at Silver.
No offense.
Does Lookout have a park?
I got you guys. Dude, Lookout's Park is sick.
All right.
That's the best part, dude.
I'm holding it up. Snowboarding, mountain biking, or dirt bikes.
You can only do one.
Can only do one.
Probably dirt biking.
My man.
Yeah.
Dude, as the resident moto expert, I approve of that answer.
Yeah, because that's
I also like snowboarding, though.
You could sit there and just twist the throttle and not
true.
have to get crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. Favorite local snowboard event?
Ooh, snowboard event.
You said you won one, so we think we should highlight that because we haven't highlighted.
That I won the event. Well,
Yeah.
it would probably it would have to be the bank slalom at Silver. Dougie
Those are my
Fresh.
favorite
Yeah.
events.
The Dougie Fresh. That's
Dougie Fresh.
And that's kind of the only one in my area. So that and Skijor.
Okay, but if you had to pick one,
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie
The
Fresh.
2023 champion, if I'm
Correct.
correct, right? Yeah.
Ooh.
I remember.
That's
we
his
got-
time. That was a sick course that day,
That
too.
was a good.
How'd you do that one, Ryan?
I don't want to talk about it. That was the last bank slalom I will ever do.
Was it the first?
No.
It was his first. And
Well, it's
last.
funny. This year it was Owen's younger brother that beat me.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
his name?
Jason?
Wyatt.
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 Yeah, and he'd been on a
His
board.
dad,
I think that was his second time on the board.
Right
Dude, Wyatt, he's
Shredder.
a problem. He's gonna go play basketball over in Italy for college. So,
Wow.
congrats, Wyatt.
Wow.
Maybe we can
Good
get
for
you
him.
on here before you leave. Then favorite snowboard shop. Where are you getting gear at?
Sadly, it's online right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to pick a local shop, it would still be Pistol for sure.
Pistol.
Pistol did support me the first couple of years I moved here. He was hooking me up with a couple free, like, just sweatshirts, and I think he even gave me a pair of bindings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
In the shop out of Coeur d'Alene.
That was in Coeur d'Alene, yep. But I did come to the one here that was
Yeah.
downtown also.
yeah. So thank you, Josh, for
Yep.
continuing to support the
he does
local
have
riders.
2 shops.
Yep. Yep. 2 shops, 1 in Coeur d'Alene. And then do you have a moto?
Moto shop,
Yep.
probably Big 4 in Coeur d'Alene, which that's Asher's kind of shop. They've been helping me out huge.
All right. Ryan, do you have
go.
you know that? I don't know anything.
Big Four's dope.
Cool.
They're cool.
I'm always willing to expand.
They put on the arena CrossFit
Yes.
every year. And,
Okay.
they do some good suspension work over there.
Yes.
And then to round us out, we would just say, what's next for you? What do you got?
And next is finish Silver King and get through the summer healthy and just keep pursuing my company and hope for a good winter.
Perfect. And then any shout outs, thank yous that you would like to.
I would like to shout out to Nick for being a good homie and just having my back, and then also my parents for supporting me in everything I do. And that's kind of it. It's really my parents. They're a huge backing, and also you guys for putting on this podcast. I think what you guys are doing is really killer for us local guys to be able to get out and share our stories.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank
You're
you so
very
much.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sick.
Woo. Good one. Another
Nice
good
job,
one.
dude.
Heck yeah, boys.